Hello, good evening, welcome to UPfront. My name is Raymond Acquah. Tonight, we are staying on that particular hashtag that we've been drumming home in the last 2 weeks. That is hashtag no to galamsey. I'm bringing you a man who's been in the private sector and understood mining and dealt with miners. He's actually been also at the Minerals Commission as a former CEO, so he understands how all of these things happen. I'm almost certain the only thing he has not done in the area of mining is be the minister in charge of it. Dr. Tony Obin, you're welcome to UPfront.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
I should not leave out the fact that, you are still the founder and president of the African Institute of Extractive Industries.
Absolutely. So that's most important to me, because sometimes they say former. It means you've never been present.
Because we have dealt with you in so many former capacities.
That's right.
And when he's not actively mining or dealing with matters in that particular area, he loves football too.
Absolutely.
I'm told you say we will win the World Cup.
Well, I dreamt, and I told a few people that I dreamt that we have won the World Cup, and then it was all over the place. But what's wrong with us causing a surprise?
This Ghanaian team.
It's a surprise everywhere.
Coach Otuado.
I have no problem with Otuado, I must say.
Who did we play in the final when we won the World Cup? In your dream?
In my dream. Actually, I have forgotten. All I saw was the World Cup.
I am equally very optimistic.
How we won it, I don't want to know, but
that we have brought the cup back to the Republic of Ghana.
Absolutely. But for me, my interest is also in Galaxy, the Black Galaxies, which I am very, very hopeful in.
Oh, well. Brilliant. Now, I hope you are doing well.
By God's grace.
Maybe I extend the same question to our fight against galamsey. Is it doing well?
Absolutely no. It is not at all, and it's a very sad indictment on all of us, on Ghanaians, on our leadership in particular, and on our conscience. It must be a big scar on our conscience.
When you were leaving office, I remember, is this somewhere that's 2017?
I think I left in August 2017.
When you were leaving office, we were purportedly doing very well with the fight against galamsey. We had actually declared some moratorium. We'd actually been on the ground actively fighting. I remember the media coalition even heavily supported this particular fight. What happened after that?
Yes, I think the euphoria of a change of government, and then sort of built by the media. In fact, the media took a frontline position in that, which was very, very good. Actually helped the leadership in that area at that time to push for some sanity in that area. The problem that I saw was that much as we were making noise about stopping galamsey, there was no immediate footprint. Blueprint from the government side. Even though there was
there was an MMIP.
Yes, the MMIP was built later on. It was an afterthought. Okay. And of course, it didn't mean that there was no blueprint there. But in this our country, when there is a change of government, we throw away all the things that is associated with the previous government, and we try to start a new thing. So the MMIP, and I was part of the people who were building the MMIP. Okay. It came after we've made all the noise, and after we've stopped, we've stopped mining the galamsey, which was very good. Unfortunately for us, much as we did not sustain the fight, there were also people who were doing it. A lot of media reportage about people being protected to do it in the midst of stop mining.
Really?
Yes. I'm surprised you are saying really. I go back to 20. Around that time, there were people mining. Most of them were mining in the forest, and they were protected. Somehow, that has been the bane, because once you say, and you cannot stop this mining 100%.
Yeah.
But you can bring them to reasonable level. There are countries that are also suffering from this. Look, I was once part of a group who was trying to address the question of illegal mining in Mongolia, far away Mongolia. And at that time, I'm sure you've heard the word ninja. Ninja is a term similar to galamsey in Ghana. So if you're doing illegal mining, you were a ninja, sort of. But and the government at that time didn't have any law for illegal mining. They didn't even want to make any law. but they saw it was going on. So our advice was for them to regularize it and create regulation and manage it. Now, I won't say Mongolia has no illegal miners, but I think significantly it has stopped. There are other areas, Peru and other areas, where the level of illegal mining has gone down. It's much more managed. In our country, the danger that we are facing is that, in fact, I think between 2006 to 2019, we have lost about 47,000 hectares of our land to illegal mining. 47,000, yes. And out of that, a significant portion of it is in very sensitive areas, in the forest as well. And I'm so disappointed that significant part of it is also in the southern part, particularly in the Wassa area where I come from, and in the Ashanti Belt and all those areas. And our water bodies are being seriously affected. My additional worry, not only that the Ghana Water Company is not getting right water to produce for us to drink, it has become even more dangerous to drink it. Yeah. And people who are living in Accra, for example, who do not have galamsey for now, at least, I think there are only a few regions.
But is there any land for galamsey in Accra? Right?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah.
They may be eating fish coming from galamsey infested areas. So I think it's a major. Well, if there's mercury infestation, then obviously or other metal infestation in the fish, then you are eating fish and you're eating some metal also into your body. One of the causes of this incessant, the kidney issues and all that. So I think we are in a very serious situation, and everybody must be alarmed by what's going on and our inability to fight it.
Where did we go wrong specifically? Because I recall there's a story that suggested that in 2017, you were saying that we are controlled, what they call it, the illegal mining menace.
Yes.
We were fully with our leg on the pedestal and we're clearly dealing with it.
Yes, I said that, and it was true. There was some movements, towards calming the system, no activity going on. So we should have immediately sustained it, and then we should have enforced the laws indiscriminately. Unfortunately, the story is all over the place, where you find senior people, some of whom were required to help the protection of the environment or stop the galamsey, who were working. And the media reported those things. There were people who were working on the water bodies when mining had been asked to stop completely. It was happening, and they were being handled by people of high places, people in high places. I think that is where the problem is.
See, I want to because you were the Minerals Commission CEO. If anything,
I had left. I left.
That's, of course.
No. When I left,
okay,
I left in August.
Yes,
when I had left, and I think later on, the minister also left.
Yes.
So I'm not saying because we left anyway necessarily, but I think the momentum also went, and we had a semblance of trying to stop illegal mining when we ourselves were doing it. People in high places were doing it, and it's all over the place.
When you say people in high places, who are you referring to?
But I have, since for a very long time, I've spoken about politicians who try to create the impression that they are fighting a menace. Meanwhile, behind the other side, they are doing it. They are influencing the doing of it. I always point my...
Seriously?
I always say that I have been at the Minerals Commission I've been in the mining industry for a very long time. I don't have somebody would say a scintilla of concession. No, not a small bit of concession for mining for myself, even though I had that opportunity. I am sure it will be difficult for people in authority to honestly look at their God. The law is there, and the law, if you don't have evidence, you haven't done anything wrong. But to look at their God and the people of Ghana and say, we don't have concessions for ourselves.
Are you talking about those in authority now?
Those in authority, some of them do have. Some of them know, and we know it. Don't ask me these questions as if
because it's a vacuum. I've heard so many people mention, but they don't specifically mention.
They won't mention names because you see, as I said, evidence is the rule of the game. And if you don't have the evidence, you may have seen it, but you may not. You know, if I have a company, mining company, and if I have it by proxy, it is because if I were a minister,
a beneficial owner.
Exactly. If I am a minister or I'm a significant person in government, I'm not likely to register a company in my name for Galamsey to be done for I mean, no, it will be obvious. But you may have a proxy, and you may be allowing that to go on, and because you have the power in your hands, you may want to push that. So I think, collectively, that is where our failure comes from. I'm sure for the ordinary Galamseya, the ordinary people who are doing the activity, if you ask them to stop, they will stop. And even for them, what they do, it's not as devastating as the ones using, the excavators, the trommels, and all those things. They are the ones that are really seriously impacting negatively on our ecosystem. So I think the problem is our own doing. The problem is the doing of people in high places and our commitment to really win the fight.
In December 2012, were you at the Minerals Commission?
Yes. 2012, no. In December 2012, I wasn't there.
Okay. But in December 2014, you were there?
Yes, I was there.
So you met, for example, the Akonta mining license, the prospecting license, the mining lease of Akonta. Because let me give the background to this. Kwaku Bako says the reconnaissance license was expired because they were granted a prospecting license in December 2021.
In where? I mean, Akonta mining may have different concessions.
Okay, we are talking about specifically the area is outside the Nimri Forest Reserve. We're talking about the reconnaissance of Insamaboy.
And he was given a mining lease?
Yes, a prospecting license.
Yes. You see, let me define what we have been calling Galamsey.
I'll come to that point because this is very.
Yeah, but then I'm
explain that.
I'm trying to link it.
I think the question I want to ask you is how do all these people get the license, the lease, the concession? And also, sometimes we know which one you are talking about: prospecting, reconnaissance, and all of that. Yeah. What's the difference? What's the process for anybody to acquire these things?
Okay. No, the law allows for people who are interested in mining to go through the legal process to acquire the relevant licenses to mine. It's the same as the big companies, the Goldfields and the Anglo Gold Ashanti and all those. You have to go through a process. The first process is called reconnaissance license. In reconnaissance license, you are not allowed to dig. You are only going to do some geophysical exploration, maybe flying drones, flying some machines to look at whether there's an occurrence of the mineral you're looking for. Now that is the you are not allowed to dig. You are not allowed to drill. You are only to take some soil samples and water samples for some study. When you are satisfied that there is an occurrence, then you may apply for a prospecting license. And I must say that in that situation, the land that you did the reconnaissance will even be reduced. Because if you did the reconnaissance, it won't be the whole area. There will be a smaller area that you want to do prospecting. Prospecting is where you put money, you put resources to do the investigations, to find out whether and how much gold is there. And even that, it is not mining. You are allowed to do drilling, you may be doing trenching and all that, but you are not allowed to mine. So, and this is where the Galamsey comes from. If you have a license that doesn't allow you to mine and you are mining, you are doing illegal mining. Simple. So it is not only the small scale miner
who does reconnaissance,
and then you start mining. If you are prospecting, and you start mining, you are doing Galamsey. You are doing illegal mining. Simple.
Okay. So at what point do you qualify to start mining?
Yes. So after the prospecting, then you come back to the commission. You apply. that, look, I have done my work. I know that a smaller portion here, there is gold there. So you apply for a mining lease. That mining lease will now allow you to prepare to mine. But again, to get the mining lease, you must have the EPA permit, you must have water resource permit, and all those permits that is...
Including something from the Forestry Commission?
And no, it's not always the forest. When it has to do with forests, that is where Forestry Commission come in.
Okay.
The Forestry Commission doesn't come in until the person wants to go and prospect in the forest. That is why we go to the Forestry Commission and say, this person wants to go and do a prospecting work in the forest. Do you allow for that to happen or something like that? Yeah. Now, even when you have the lease, if we need to underline that even when you have the lease, theoretically, you have to have ratification by Parliament before you can dig. That is why some time ago...
Why do you say theoretically?
Because in effect, there are many concessions that have not been ratified. We were complaining. I mean, somebody had to lose his whole work because this license had not been ratified. Remember, that's that. But in the past, there was an issue with that because the license would tell you that you must start developing within 2 years. And then the ratification also took a very long time because it has to be done by the ministry, it has to go to Parliament. You don't have much to do as the applicant. So it will take a very... Some people had their licenses ratified after 9 years. 9 years.
When they're supposed to start the actual production?
In 2 years. So I think...
but that's a vacuum.
Yeah, that is why I said that theoretically there was a problem there. But if you're going strictly according to the law, which was applied to some other companies, then if you don't have if you have the lease and you don't have ratification, you can't even mine. So if the law were to be enforced strictly, you cannot have people just mining. But people have the mining lease or they have the prospecting license and they go and flaunt it around and look, I have a license, and they start digging. That they are all doing galamsey from that point.
Oh, I see.
Yes. So it's not only small scale miners who do galamsey. And these days the trick is that instead of applying for small scale mining license, which is at 25 acres, probably not adequate because they're using big equipment. In the past, when the law was made, the 25 acres, it would take you about 25 years to finish it because you are using pickaxe and shovels. Now, the 25 acres that they give you, it will take you 25 days to finish it because you are using excavators and all this heavy equipment. So things have changed significantly. So now what people do is not to go apply for small scale mining. They will apply for large-scale mining license. This is where the prospecting, this. Once they get one of the licenses, but somebody will say, they go there and start mining.
Oh, I see.
And it's illegal. It's illegal. And I think the Akonta mining thing that you are referring to is quite similar. Yes, it was in a process. By what you have read to me, I haven't seen it myself. If I had seen it, I forgot because 12 years or how many years ago, so it's long. But if that were true, then prospecting license will not grant you the power to mine. No, you can't go and flaunt it and say I have the license to mine here, and then so I have to go and mine.
In any of these cases, can you be allowed entry into a forest area to do the reconnaissance, the prospecting, and the actual mining?
One of the most difficult things is to get the license to go into the forest. In fact, until 1996 or 7, or a bit later, it was completely outlawed to go and prospect in the forest area. So it took some effort when a lot of gold was found elsewhere. So government came up with very stringent requirements for you to get access into the forest areas. I mean, some of the big companies that got access to prospect there were Chiranu Gold Mines, I think some of the big companies, but it was under Chiranu Gold Mines eventually got a small portion after prospecting. And even that, it turned out that most of the places that they called forests were not real forests, they've been very mutilated. Okay. Now, a few others got it, but very small portion, and you are required. I remember that Newmont had a small portion of the forest in the Achim area, the Ejenuabe Po area, and the government required it to replace it with 3 times whatever impact it was going to have over there, and then do a lot of other things. So it wasn't possible. It wasn't easy for you to get access to get in there. Now, fast forward in 2017, I recall a ban was placed. Total ban was placed with any activity at all regarding mining in the forest area. 2017, part of the Stop Galamsey. I don't know how come now it was opened. And normally when these things are opened...
Because it's true that government, because I've heard the Minerals Commission, I've also heard the minister himself issue a statement and said that we have never issued anybody with even prospecting licenses to go into a forest.
Okay. Well, I'm not there, but the truth is that 2017, when we were doing the Stop Galamsey, one of the things we said, and I think it came from even cabinet at that time, that nobody should mine be given anything, not even reconnaissance license in the forest. So for me, it was completely closed. It was closed. I remember some people trying to create some gimmick that those areas closer to forests that have been mined, they were going to rehabilitate. And the trick was that if they are rehabilitating around, they will find a way of going. That was completely stopped. So how they now began to have the courage to apply for it and be given entry permit, I don't know. I have no idea. But I think that is where the problem also comes from. Look at those who are mining in the forest. If you did a study, you find out that most of them are in very significant positions in government. They are either, they are in significant position, let me say, in government. So,
like what position?
Oh, but we know people are regional chairmen who have access to those places. It's probably not one, but more. There are others who have gone there without permission, but still, may probably not even have the license at all.
I heard the minister say this morning that the reason why we have not arrested the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP, Bernard Enchuboisiako, connected to Akunta Mining, or we have not arrested any director of Akunta Mining today, is because Forestry Commission is investigating.
Well, I mean, he may be right. Forestry Commission may be investigating, and then if that is so, then we can wait for the investigations. I hope the investigation is faster. I mean, I cannot pronounce any guilty verdict.
Yes, of course. I mean,
it's not guilty, but
that why the law. If you are investigating, why don't you arrest the people involved in the first place?
Yes, the law is that. In fact, let me just draw your attention to this. Until 2015, it was not clear. It was not deep as to how people who breach the laws of mining are appropriately penalized. There was no clear rule. So laws were made. I was part of those who prepared the law for Parliament to approve. In that case, even if your excavator or equipment was found to be used in illegal mining, it will be sort of seized and kept at the district assemblies and all that. And then if you were found guilty of illegal mining, we proposed punishment for the first time. And also we changed in those days, all mining offenses were tried at High Court. And High Courts were only in big cities. I mean, like in Takwa, Cape Coast and all that. So we changed the law that now I think district courts can also so this was the direction that we were going. And then, and if you're a foreigner and you were found guilty of that, you have a longer, stay in incarceration if you're found guilty. And then for a Ghanaian, you also had a long period, but maybe much shorter than a foreigner. And one thing that we must also know is that for small-scale mining, the law is clear. It says it's for Ghanaians who are 21 years and above and who have all the permit and all that. So as soon as you saw any non-Ghanaian, just by, it's not every non-Ghanaian who is white anyway.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. Yes.
So but and there are some white Ghanaians also. So, but you must be suspicious of a certain person who is of a different stock.
So Chinese who are doing small
scale,
it's a no-no.
It's a no-no. You don't even have to ask his name or so. He must be arrested. because he is not supposed to do small-scale mining. You know, and sometimes they go and somebody, well, our Ghanaians will go, oh, this is my land, this is my land. So they go and start working. Some of them believe that because, and some of them go into written agreement.
Yeah.
So once you have he has a paper, he thinks that
he has not gone through the process.
No, he hasn't gone through the process. But oh, tell me, I have to. Well, you know, I'm working because I have a paper from somebody. Yes, you know. So.
But the minerals does not belong to the landlord.
Exactly. The minerals belongs to Ghanaians and it's held in trust by the president. That is what the Constitution says. And that is why we blame the president for the failure. Because the box stopped with him. But I know he had a good conviction at the time, because all of us, we were wearing T-shirts, we were all over the place trying to support his ideas.
He said he's put his presidency on the line.
Yeah, but that's
what has happened today.
Yeah, but the presidency, if you put your president, I don't want to go into politics, but this one, the presidency, if you put that on the line, what does it mean? Does it mean that when you don't succeed, you will step aside? Because recently the president said, we know that we haven't succeeded in that. So if your presidency was, so that was quite a vague statement. Nobody can do anything to the president for having said that because it was vague. The president should have, you know, he didn't.
But he said he lost votes in the areas because
of that's this. The problem. And that was also blamed on some people, including myself.
You?
Yeah, I have heard people say, in fact, yesterday I saw a program, and I'm saying that if somebody will visit, let's say, a Galamsey area for one day, and that will cause everybody in the mining areas not to vote for the policies of the president, in that case, president, then that person must be extremely powerful. And that person is not powerful that way. You see, people have their own way of voting. Ghanaians have become sophisticated. So obviously, they would react according to how they see things and how they feel. They shouldn't credit the simple visit. And I think it's just hanging on to straw. Simple visit to those areas where maybe the person is not even talking cannot be the reason why the president would have lost vote in that area. I mean, when you start fighting things like this, the people who would be affected would take decisions.
So do you really think the president put his presidency on the line?
No, I don't think so. I think the president had a conviction. He initially, because you see, before he came to power, he had said that he wasn't the one going to stop Galamsey. He was going to Shemukina. He said, you know, if you play the tape, that's what he said. There are some people who are saying that I am going to stop Galamsey. No, I'm going to look for job for people, so I won't stop Galamsey. I will strengthen it. But, you know, these politicians say these things to come to power. And then after that, he realized that the enormity of, the effect of this thing is staggering. So, look, let me take a U-turn. And so all of us thought, okay, that's a real, if a president, because these things, you need the top person to actually lead. So if he's leading, then the followers will follow. So he had a conviction. But whether by the success of the policy will determine his longevity as a president there, then I think that one, he didn't mean it.
Really?
I mean, but how would you assess that? How would you assess that I put my presidency online? How would you assess that? Because you see, if you say I am expecting that this and this and that will happen. If they don't happen, I will not be the president.
The current minister is convinced that the fight is still on course and that we are on course to winning this fight. In fact, he and his deputy, who has come under some flack and being accused here and there, have also been stating clearly that government is doing all it can to fight hard against this Galamsey menace. Do you think government is doing enough to fight it?
No, not enough. We see in the air that something is going on. But you see, if people would want to see action being taken of people who have been involved, for instance, let's not go into even Ashawan. When he was found of having been involved in that, people were expecting some action for us to say, hey, as for the government, it means business. So if you go to that area, you are in trouble. People have seen heard other people. We have heard, what is the lady, the former Minister of Local Government, Alima Mahama.
Haji Alima Mahama.
Yes. I mean, said that we know people who are involved in this. There are some DCs, MMDCs are involved in this business. And we know we are going to expose them very soon. They were never exposed. And then, look, I mean, there's a minister, a deputy minister, no, not deputy minister, DC, I think a DC, who has recently spoken about how he's making money through that means.
Really?
Yeah.
The Bosumi Frehun. Oh, okay. But the president has said that he has been invited to come and explain.
Yeah. Well, that's the point. People have to put pressure
against him.
Yes. I know.
But his wife is dead, so that's why he has not gone to explain.
Okay, so I won't say anything. If I go and steal now, and my wife, or if I go and kill somebody now, and my wife is dead, they will just say, "Oh, go and finish with the barrier." My wife is not dying now, though. You should go and bury your wife before you come to the police station to be arrested. It won't happen. Okay. So I'm saying that, yes, maybe there are few people who want to stop. And I have no doubt that maybe the president wants to stop. But I think the way they are approaching it is a problem.
How about the minister? Is he also doing his bit?
Well, he's a minister of lands and natural resources. And I'm sure he'll be disappointed that the lands would be in the nature of...
But is he doing enough?
Well, maybe. I mean, I think... Okay, let me say that.
Because we've tried fighting this.
Yeah, let me say that there's more room for improvement. I think there's more room for improvement.
Now, in April 2021, you said backing Galamsey allegations with evidence was impossible. Just not long ago, when the president was speaking to DCs, he is saying that if there are allegations against you, I expect the people to back it with evidence. If they present the evidence, they'll invite you for a conversation on it. If you're not able to defend yourself properly, then I cannot defend you, or I cannot protect you.
Yeah, that's what I said. That, evidence is the name of the game. So, but in fight like this, in things like this, if you're always going to wait for evidence, but there are people who know, who know that some things are happening that does not benefit the environment, but they are unable to come up front because they may be the ones who have to present the evidence. Now, if they don't present evidence, they can be a subject of maybe a suit, a legal suit by the people for whom you are alleging. So I think as a government, when we are fighting a significant menace like this, you don't wait for evidence. When there is some credibility in the guy spoke, and for instance, the Bosumi Frehun person, he spoke, the voice was there. So you don't even wait you call him immediately, and then you start doing the investigations based on what he said. Because he can also cover his act quickly. So if you're waiting for black and white evidence, it may be difficult for you to do that. And therefore, it's always going to be like that. That's where I think the conviction is lacking. We know, we see. We heard about some mining on water bodies, that some names high-level names were mentioned. We heard about people who had sold excavators, and we heard about we need money for our party and all those things. These things, if it's quiet, then people think that there is a discriminatory enforcement of the law.
Oh, I see.
Because you have heard these things, and unfortunately, they are related to your party. If nothing is done, even if it is not true, everybody would think that you are covering them, and this is a situation where no cover-up would be accepted.
You have said not long ago that the fiasco in the current fight against Galamsey is government's own doing.
When did I'm sure I said it because as soon as you said, because I've said many things in mind. So I think
how did government fail woefully?
That's what I'm saying. I've said time and again that once government made this initial call for Galamsey to stop, it should have been sustained. Somehow it was left open again, and even at that time there were people related to government who were doing it and who nobody took any action, and who were very happy to flaunt what they had. So that way, those who are not even related to government will also want to do, because they will point to those who are
so
related.
We've always had a half-hearted approach to the fight against
Precisely. We have had a half-hearted approach to the fight against illegal mining.
All right. Now, I get your point there, because I've been hearing you say a lot more than just that. You have also said...
You're holding me to everything that I said.
Yes, I want to be sure that we're on the same page. We can't win Galamsey fight with brute force.
Yeah. I also believe
that's last year. But where we are currently, do you think that's
what I have
relevant?
said? What I have said in the past, and I said it right from day one, in fact, to Minister Meu, that it is good to have the military as a show of force.
The vanguard that we deploy.
Yeah, as a show of force initially. And my proposition was that they must be more on the water bodies. As for the water bodies, even if you have helicopters flying regularly on the water bodies and then arresting those who are operating at the water bodies, that's very, very, very good. So you cannot always go, because the thing is that if you go to the bush, the people, some of them will be arrested, a lot of them will run away, and the military man will leave. The military man will leave for another place, and then they'll come back and work. The people who are in that business, they are very daring. So that will not help. What I have proposed, and this was part of the document left behind, was that combined with this show of force, not arresting and maybe shooting and all that, you do it initially to scare people, and then occasionally they know that you are flying over the water bodies. You are very serious about that. Now let us come down to identify how to resolve this. I have made propositions long ago that this whole issue of small-scale mining has become bigger than where the law intended it to be. At the time they made the law, the people who were doing who were doing small-scale mining, at that time they were doing Galamsey as well. They were using shovels and pickaxe and all that, so the law could contain that. Now it has changed. People are using chamfer, people are using heavy equipment, people are using all kinds of things. So you need to recategorize, because you cannot tell me that some small-scale mining are really small-scale mining. Let us redefine the shape of small-scale mining.
How about community mining?
I'll come back to that. And then let us also use technology more in stopping this. And part of it is not just a drone. We spoke about trying to track all the excavators that are used in these businesses. And then
they're supposed to be deployed, right? Why were they?
Well, we said it long ago. In fact, when I was there, we went and had a good meeting with the DVLA. And so we were in the process, and they thought that was a brilliant idea. And then we left. So the blueprint was there. That has to be done. Now, when you link that to a geospatial space, so if you have a right, if you have a license to mine, then your machine will be linked to that geospatial space. If you move away from there, your machine will move. It will be controlled remotely. Because if we had properly deployed this tagging system, they will just stay at where they have to work. And that is where you can monitor, you can go and enforce the law, and any attempt to move outside because normally some of them will get concessions about 100 meters away from the water bodies. Normally, in fact, the Minerals Commission will not grant you a concession which is less than 100 meters away from water body. So what happens is that they will go there and then move into the water body to work. So if you have tracked that machine, as soon as it moves, it won't go. It cannot move. So because if you ask me to always go and monitor, and sometimes I become friends with them, and when they give me $50,000 at a point, I'll turn my eyes. I mean, and it's human.
So the current approach is to put those watercrafts by the military permanently on the water bodies.
I think for now, there should be maybe a water guide, where you have proper control, and we pray to God that those who will be sent there will not also turn themselves into the same people who, because the money is a very dangerous thing. Once you go and this place has gold there, the new ideas start coming. But I trust our military. Our military is probably one of the very trustworthy institutions at this stage. But That is where we need to look at the water bodies, and then in the offshore, if you like, we should have the technology, and we should redefine what is small-scale mining, so that you will not call where somebody has about 17 excavators on a piece of land a small-scale mining. It is not.
When we come back from this break, one of the things I'll seek to explore with you is the option that people have given. Declare state of emergency in the area so that you can properly do the work. Some have also said that give the military unfettered access, let them go and clear everybody on the ground there, and it will work. The other grouping is what you have said before. Act on hearsay if you really want to fight against Galamsey. My guest, Dr. Obin, will be back with me on UPfront pretty soon after this break. You're welcome back to UPfront. My name is Raymond Acquah. My guest today is a man absurd. Apart from being minister, he's done virtually everything in the area of mining in the Republic of Ghana. He's been in the private sector as a former Chief of Mines CEO. He's also been Minerals Commission, the people that, not ultimately, the people that actually advise ministers on who to get a license for what and what. There are the people who have been giving the license to people to do the illegal mining in the Republic of Ghana. He's also been the Minerals Commission CEO. Recently, he's actually had some big office as founder and president of the Africa Extractive...
You need to be present more.
Yes. Dr. Tony Obe is my guest. I mean, I was telling that when we were going on break that, I mean, I like the fact that you have solutions to some of the current problems that we are still facing in the fight against Galamsey. Let me explore one of them. You did mention early on, and you said this last year, because I was tracking some of the things that you talked about. You said last year that top politicians, business moguls are making the fight against Galamsey difficult. And you have said here that one of the biggest problems you're having is that even people in current government at the top are actually making it very difficult to fight or actively involved. You did not mention anybody's name.
Yeah,
Can you tell us who exactly these people are?
But you know them. I mean, you have heard about it. It's the media people who go out there to see people working. You do the thing that the documentary that you do. You bring them out. You know, I don't go there to do Galamsey. I don't go there to do. I mean, I hear, I read, I find out, I talk to people, and I watch your programs and I see them. So your programs will not lie because they are all. You have a video. Footages to them and all that. So I think we all know. I mean, this country is very much aware of that. What the country is waiting for is an action.
Beyond the ownership of Akonta mining, who else is involved in government in illegal mining today? You
are my former local government minister who said that he knows what do you call it, MMDCs who are involved in small-scale mining, illegal mining. She said that. I didn't say that. There were people who spoke about some ministers who were working on the water bodies and all those things. It came out, there were denials. So I don't know whether there were further investigations. I don't know. And obviously, recently there have been a self-indicting comment by another political functionary. And
oh, really?
Many of
who is this?
I mentioned the Bremer, well, so we have a lot of them. These are the ones that have come openly. There are those who, because they are working through proxies, it will be difficult to come out with them. They are working through proxies. They have their concessions are not in their names, but they are working. And see, but for me, there's nothing wrong
that
if you have a
PSA ought to be investigated.
Yes, because because
of the
illegality.
Yeah.
When somebody is doing illegal things in the state of what we see, it is difficult because there's a power game in this. Sometimes when we are upfront talking from our hearts, we go a little bit scared. But someone who doesn't understand you might think that you are destroying his source of food. Sometimes people tell you, don't go and say this, don't go and say this. I say, but I'm a Ghanaian and I'll die one day. And if I die by saying the truth or trying to help us, do things better. Because what is happening? This land that we are on, it's not for us. It's a borrowed material. It's a borrowed entity. We are going. So if we leave this for my children, and my children's children, we haven't done well. So, and I'm not saying we shouldn't be mining. I believe that God is not unwise to have put gold and other things over here. But we should do it wisely so that we can still make money out of it and then manage our environment properly. And those of us in leadership must be the ones who help those who are doing it to stop doing the wrong way, and then maybe, if possible, punish them for wrongdoing.
Were the drones deployed during your time?
The drones were purchased, I believe, just as I was leaving. I have never been a supporter of the drone. I have never been, and my reason is very simple. The problem of illegal mining in this country is not drone. It's not about people knowing where the mining activities are taking place. It is about enforcing the law indiscriminately. Because if the drone goes and comes to tell you that there are Kofi Menu and Adwa Mansa mining in spot B, and nobody goes to stop them, the drone has done nothing to us. So me, initially, I said, look, our priority is not the drone. The drone is a beautiful toy that will take pictures and tell you that, because if you want a drone, once in a while, you can actually ask someone to do something. And we had a lot of footages that we use the drone to indicate where these activities are going to. So you buy a drone of about $3 million, $4 million. I don't know how much, but in that region. And how is it stopping Galamsey? So I think that we don't also look exactly, and then we don't take advice. I think that at this stage.
So why didn't you tell the ministry?
Oh, I did.
You told them?
I did. I mean,
the drone will not work.
In fact, I think the minister was so convinced that it would work. You see, it is not like it was negative about getting, but I having known the system for a while, I said, Minister, the drone is not a solution, because the issue is not monitoring. As for monitoring, they monitor, even the Minerals Commission, but it's the enforcement. Let's enforce the law.
People account for the purchase and deployment of drones when it was, to your mind, not a very wonderful.
But my mind is not the mind of everybody. You see,
did it cost financial loss to us?
If I were the one given the right to buy, I won't buy it. Mm-hmm. I won't buy it. I don't know what it means by buying.
But should we account for it?
Oh, we should account for it. We should. The drone has done A, B, C, D. Definitely, it would be flown and it will take some pictures. All right, there's no doubt about that. But what has it done in terms of stopping illegal mining? And couldn't we have maybe rented a drone for a day or two to go over? Meanwhile, it had been done. The fact, in 2015, 2016, the Minerals Commission and the National Development Planning Commission, we worked together to fly drones over the country. That's where we started, coming out with all these pictures and all that. So those things were there. I don't know. I'm sure it was out of the zealousness of the minister wanting to. Was it
causing financial loss, listed?
If I were the one to measure it, I would say that it was not useful. So it was not a useful equipment. Of course, he didn't know much about mining, and so he felt that by running the drone, you are going to bring some pictures out. And I said that picture out is already out, and it won't add anything to our stopping. So we should actually look at why we are buying certain equipment. It shouldn't just be buying it to show we've bought drones to fly all over the place. It doesn't. How much does it add to stopping the illegal mining?
Specifically, maybe advice to the current president, to the minister, and also to the people at the Minerals Commission, the regulatory level too. Let's start with the president. What single act should he do to try and stem the tide?
You should crack the whip. If you hear, or if there is a clear evidence, push for them to. I am not saying that just go and for those that you can control. For example, those whose appointment you can terminate. Do it. I mean, and people must be wise enough to also resign. Look, in 2016 or something like that, or 20 something, when there's a woman who was a minister who only said he wanted money. He wanted money as a minister. He wanted to make $1 million. Hammer. He was sacked just because he said he aspired to make money. The Minister for Transport, the bus branding issue, he resigned. Or normally when people resign, they've been made to resign.
So quietly. Who should resign now?
Oh, those who have been found related to illegal mining. He has said even if it is not a serious thing, for the optic of it, the president will let him go. Look, after all, it is just your job you are putting down. There will be somebody else who will come and do it and will not do what he did. Those who you think or you have some feeling that what people are saying about them is true, it doesn't mean that you are trying them or you are taking them to court. Punish them and let people feel that you take action. So that's the important one. But generally, I know you want to end, but generally, yes. I think we should stop this political approach to solving the Galamsey issues, where we have to bring people together. We should say this is a national issue. People should come. People who are knowledgeable in it should sit down and try and get it. It is not always the issue of because the Ghana is for all of us. Ghana is for it's not for any particular.
Have you been consulted on the current fight?
You consult me. You consult me a lot.
Okay, I get you. And Doc, thank you so much for your time this evening. And we sure should talk about blasters on your next visit. But folks, that's where we're in today's edition of Upfront. Many thanks to you for watching too.